Hey everyone, looks like we're live. Just gonna make sure that we're good to go. I'm gonna give everyone a second. I think there might be a delay between my phone and the broadcast, so just wanna make sure we're in good shape. Fix my hair. It's hot out here, so my hair is sweaty and stuck to my head. But I think we're good to go. Hey everyone, how's it going? This is Allie Sorlie again, and I want to welcome you to another installment of Museum Expedition 42, or No Expedition Has Gone Before. So I thought today might be fun to do a little bit of on-location shooting. You can see our headquarters trailers right back there, and I am currently in the back of our kitchen friend. Today, I thought it might be a great idea to kind of bring a little bit of nostalgia for one of the, I think, underrated or underthought about aspects of expedition, which are all of the signs. There are lots of signs at expedition that help designate certain areas and help tell us about things that are happening. And so I thought today might be a good day to sort of talk a little bit about some of the signs that we have at expedition and get a chance to see them. Just remember them if you haven't seen them in a while. But and also to show you some of the new ones that we have that I think everyone might be pretty excited about. So I immediately, while I was out here, got bit by a horsefly. So it is officially expedition, which is exciting. Those horseflies were just waiting for it, and they found me. If you have been at expedition with me, you'll know that no matter what I do, insect repellent wise, I am someone that the bugs find very interesting and worth their time and very delicious, apparently, because I get chewed up all the time. But yeah, so it's officially expedition. One horsefly got stuck between my clothing and me and bit me several times. Anyway, so I just wanted to share that because I know all of you expeditioners are familiar with the feeling of the horsefly chunk biting, and thought it might be fun to share. Anyway, so let's get into today's little broadcast, though. I wanted to come out here on location so we could be near some expedition equipment. We haven't really had a chance to be near any of it during all this virtual expedition, but thought the kitchen was the perfect place because the kitchen has a lot of signs in it. I feel like maybe the most memorable and most thought about sign, I guess, for expedition is one that does hang in the kitchen and is one that we use at breakfast time and at dinner time. It's one that we all use together at the same time during those times. I think maybe you guys might know what I'm talking about, but it's a good old Philmont Grace. You see it? So Philmont Grace came from a Boy Scout camp, from the Philmont camp. And it is one that we say in front of meals, just so that we can come together right before a meal and get ready for that mealtime together and that time of being together, enjoying food, enjoying each other's company. But Philmont Grace is definitely an expedition staple. In the past couple of years, we've actually had some help from past staff members to get Philmont Grace translated into several languages. So we actually have, thanks to a staff member named Andrew Switzgable, we have, and it's on a paper plate, obviously, but we have Philmont Grace that was translated into Spanish for us. So we can say it together in Spanish for enchilada night. And we have it translated into Italian from another staff member, Elizabeth McFarlane, who helped us translate it into Italian so that we can say it together in Italian when we have spaghetti, which I think is really great. Last year, EK, who was on another one of our live streams about the sushi, helped us translate or have a greeting and something that you say at mealtimes in Japanese for us, itadakimasu. So he put that there and gave a definition of what it was. So we say that once a week as well. It's been a nice little addition in the last couple of years for Expedition to be able to have to translate this and to keep Philmont Grace going, but to put a new spin on it, give it some new life. And it's been one of my very favorite parts of Expedition in the last couple of years. Other signs that you might be familiar with. We don't use these as much anymore, but they definitely were used often with Rosa and Randy. But the menu boards, oh, it's tough to see. You know what? Let me just show you this way. You can see it, the menu boards. Again, we don't use them as much right now, but they have been used in the past, and we keep them as part of Expedition memories and history and lore. Another one that might be a familiar one is the kitchen sign. Now, we talked about this in our very first Expedition 42 live stream with Rosa, where she talked about at our 40th anniversary, she and Monica were kind enough to make a kitchen sign for me, much like the one that Rosa had when she was in the kitchen. She had a sign that said Rosa's Kitchen, smiles only, no frowns allowed. And that was one that always hung in the corner of the kitchen, just so you knew where you were and whose kitchen it was. And during the 40th anniversary, when we had the big presentation at Smith Hall, Rosa and came up and presented me with the sign that they made for me for the kitchen, since it's become the place where I stay the most in Expedition now. Oh, there it is. And there is my kitchen sign. It is one of my most cherished possessions. I cried a little when it was presented to me. It just means a lot to me because the program means a lot to me. And to be a part of it in this way is just hard to put into words how exciting it was. So this has become the first thing that gets put out in the kitchen when the kitchen gets set up, and will always be, and will stay there until it's one of the last things that goes in the kitchen. I just love it. Thank you, Rosa, again, and Monica again. Some other signs that we have that are on the newer side. Most of them are on paper plates because it wouldn't be Expedition without paper plates. But we have, it was a huge horsefly. Did you guys see that? That was massive. That was an actual horse with wings. It was as close to a Pegasus as we're going to get, was that thing that just flew behind me. But some of the other ones that we have that we keep on the posts in the kitchen around us is some quotes from past expeditions that we, or from past people that were involved in Expedition and the sites that we've been at that are just, I don't know, nice to keep in mind, nice to read every once in a while. One of the quotes we had was when we were at Gulf State Park a couple of years ago. We got to learn a lot about the CCC from Bob Pasquale and their impact on parks like the Gulf State Park and some of the excavations that they did. And there was a quote from Walter P. Jones that said, that talked about the CCC enrollees at the park, and the quote came from Walter P. Jones in June of 1936, and it said, "The men proved to be apt at learning the game of excavations and were sufficiently energetic and yet careful to accomplish the maximum which might have been expected with a trained crew of diggers." And it was great. We learned a lot about the CCC that year. So we keep this around just as a memory, to remember that the sites that we're at have a great long history, and that we as Expedition are hoping to add to that knowledge and understanding of that site that we're at. Another one that we have that stays up all the time is a quote from John Hall, which is one of my very personal favorite quotes about Expedition, and one that you'll probably hear a lot from us and from the program. But it was a quote that was in the 20th anniversary book, and I think it sums up the program perfectly. And the quote goes, But long about Thursday evening, when the group has finally bonded and calmed down, after everyone has discovered that the heat, the bugs, and the inconveniences don't mean much, and that the really important things in life are being clean, dry, and well fed. When camp hums gently with conversation and the sound of guitars, one can stand on the field and watch the Milky Way gush from the spout of Sagittarius, and it comes to you that you might just want to live forever. That you might just live forever. That's one of our favorite ones from John Hall, which there are several to choose from. But we keep that one always in the post at Expedition in the kitchen to just remind us about the program, the history of the program, and just how special it is. So along with that, we were actually out at Expedition when we learned about John Hall's passing, and we weren't able to make it to any of his memorials or services for him because we were down at Expedition, but we did receive information from people at camp, which was very nice. And we always keep a picture of John Hall with us at camp. And we always put it on the center post of the kitchen trailer right here. So that he's always with us and looking over camp with us. Another sign that we have that is a new one, I will admit, is one that I put in, is for lunch when we have cookies for lunch, and we don't, as much as we all want to just grab a handful of like 900 cookies and have them for lunch, it's best if we don't. It helps with not feeling sick in the afternoon. It also helps with making sure that we have enough cookies to go around. So we always have a 2 cookie policy. We get 2 cookies. And I don't know if you guys are a fan of Monty Python, but this one is a sign that I made a couple years ago. That is our cookie sign, and it says, 2 cookies, no more, no less. 2 shall be the number thou shalt eat, and the number of the eating shall be 2. 3 shalt not eat, neither eat only 1, excepting that thou then proceedeth to 2. That's our 2 cookie policy for Expedition. And it goes on the table next to the cookies at lunch when cookies are a part of the lunch menu. Anyway, so that's another one that we have. It's a funny one, but it's Expedition. And then there's another really funny one that has been a recent one. Expedition, as you know, you guys have been a part of the program. Expedition is always, there's always stories that come out of it, challenges, funny stories about things that just happen, and you just kind of have to roll with it. And so there was a really funny one that one of our staff members, Megan, drew for us. So everything's coming up Expedition with Millhouse because it's just the most perfect way to describe all of the challenges that Expedition can pose. But it's also really great. She's an incredibly talented artist. You guys see that? I'm great at stick figures. She's great at actual beautiful art things. But these are just some of the signs that we have. There are some more in the kitchen that we haven't pulled out just yet, but I hope that maybe this was a way to remember a little bit more about the camp, and especially about the kitchen side, because most of this was in the kitchen. I wasn't able to get the lab trailer signs or the boys and girls side or the buffalo sign or any of those signs. Those are all at the museum, but I thought the best place and the best backdrop for this talk would be the kitchen trailer. So I decided to decide to go here instead of try to get both of them done. But I hope that this has been a fun little way to remember Expedition a little bit. The goal of Expedition 42 is to, even though it's virtual, is to try to bring little aspects of camp to online, so you can try to be connected to the program as much as possible, even when we're not able to see it in person. So if you want to learn more about Expedition, you can visit the site here. This is our last week of Museum Expedition 42, so we hope you have a chance to sign in to this week and all of the programs and stuff that we are going to have posting. Some of them will be live like this, some of them will be taped. But we hope that you've enjoyed this one and got to see all of our cool signs and got to see a little bit of the kitchen trailer. It is still packed for travel. So when I opened it, you know how things always shift. When I opened it, there was a little bit of an avalanche of Tupperware, but we're good to go now. So I hope that everyone has a really great day, and we hope to see you the rest of this week. Thanks for joining in with us. Bye.